Dayla and Anna, welcome to the MSUM Dragons podcast. Thank you for joining us today. How are you?
We're good. Thanks for having us.
Well, we have gone most way through the fall season, but we haven't heard from Dragon Soccer yet. And who better to talk to than two seniors here and about things that are a little bit more than the game for the podcast, because we believe that the student athlete experience is just that here. So I'm going to start off just by kind of doing the soccer thing first. Let's talk a little bit about first and foremost, roll it way back. Why did you come to MSUM in the first place? What drew you to MSUM?
So we're actually both transfers. So we did have the experience of going somewhere else first. For me, I went to a JUCO first, just I needed a little more time, that cushion to figure out what I wanted to do. I hadn't solidified a major yet. And when I decided my freshman year that I wanted to do speech pathology, MSUM was definitely a top pick. It just so happened that Christy needed another defender on the team, so that worked out for me. She'd actually never seen me play before she let me on the team, so she really took a gamble, and I'm really glad she did, because I was comfortable quitting soccer after my freshman year. I would have come to school here regardless of playing sports or not, but I'm really glad that I didn't, because I would have missed a lot in the last 3 years. So
why didn't you? Why didn't you quit?
Honestly, when I was transferring, for me, it was more about school than soccer. I felt like I had accomplished everything that I wanted to do as an athlete. And when I toured here, I met with Christy, and listening to her talk about, I think it was her second year coaching here, and she was rebuilding our program. And it sounded very enticing to me to be a part of a rebuilding process. It made me feel a little special. So, and it has been a very special experience to be here. So.
Wonderful. Well, we're definitely glad that you came and are here. Anna, what's your story?
Yeah, I am a transfer as well, and I went to Bemidji State my first year. And so when I was transferring, I also needed kind of time to look around and see what's my best option, because I wanted different experience, that sort of thing. And one of my friends from high school actually is on the track team at MSUM, and she was like, hey, you should just come look and see if you like it. And she also made it to conference, and she was like, come to conference meet, see what you think. And so I knew that I wanted to play soccer and run track, and at Bemidji I could only play soccer. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll check it out and see what options is there, and talk to both coaches and just see what's gonna happen. And so I did reach out to both, and then I went to the MSUM soccer camp the summer of, I think it was 2019. And then I talked to the track coaches previous to that. And so I would say both of the coaches took a gamble on me. And I mean, I thought that the campus was a great fit. I had my major, and I don't know, overall, I was like, I'm coming here. It looks awesome. Why not? So that's my story.
How do you balance that two sport schedule with classes and life? One sport is intimidating enough. I know the seasons don't exactly overlap, but they do overlap with a lot of practices. How do you handle it all?
Yeah, so last year was a little different with COVID. So I stuck with track the whole entire year last year, basically, and went to a couple MSUM soccer stuff. But on a regular year, I would be doing soccer in the fall, doing all the practices, lifts, games, all that, and then transitioning to track after soccer season is done. I get that week or 2 weeks off, and then I start right into a new sport. And so for me, it's just all year long, you're competing. You have no break, just day after day, week after week. But I enjoy it. It really keeps me organized, and I'm on a schedule, and I really love being on a schedule. So it really helps.
So why do you play? I mean, and compete. That's kind of the question. I mean, walk into a weight room early in the morning to do a workout, you really get to figure out, you have that question in your head, like, why am I doing this? Like as a two-sport athlete, like why am I killing myself all the time? Why am I being on the edge of possibly hanging it up in my sport? And now I'm in it again and every day, like, why do you do it? Why do you compete? And why are you driven to continue to do that?
Should I go first? I guess for me, I just like have the mentality of just like go, go, go. Like for me, I don't want to give up on anything. Like I just want to continue to like keep growing as a person. And like I think with sports, you really grow not just like in your sport, but as a person as well with experiences that you learn. And so for me, I think that's really big to like take that into like professional life and school and a lot of other things. So for me, it's just all about being driven and having like the integrity and, resilience and commitment of like, I'm going to do this. Like, I don't know. That's what drives me. So.
Dayla, what about you?
I am actually a notoriously not competitive person, which I'm sure irks one of my teammates and coaches every day. So the competing aspect for me is really, it just kind of comes with the territory. I play personally because I love being part of a team. I've never had to make a friend organically because all my best friends have come from teams that I was put on. And so for me, the reason I came in the first place and wanted to play was that team aspect. And then that's what drives my competitiveness is, I work hard in the weight room because my teammates are doing it. And I work hard on the field because I know how much it means to my teammates to win and to succeed. And so while personally competing isn't like a top priority for me, the teammates that I have who it is a top priority for drives me to stick with it and push through those early mornings and fitness tests and all that good stuff.
Well, I'm excited to have two very different answers because you're both leaders of a team with a lot of young players. So how do you find connections with your teammates as a leader now? Because you come from, you're driven by two very different things. So how do you take that leadership role with this young group and your perspective into leading them into the future of their careers?
Yeah, actually, our COVID year put quite a dent in our team dynamic because this season, when we got to go back to normal, we had 2 full classes essentially that didn't get to have a college experience. And so it was basically like over half of our team felt brand new. And so that making those connections with teammates kind of had to be a top priority. And it was kind of a rebuilding within itself. We had to start from the bottom up, worrying about team dynamics and personal connections before we could worry about the soccer aspect. And for me, since I derive most of my competition from my teammates, I had to go out of my way a lot to get to know our underclassmen a little better. And we've done a lot of team bonding and a lot of small things like going out to lunch with people that maybe you wouldn't naturally connect with, which I think has helped our season tremendously.
Yeah, I mean, kind of the same thing for me too. I think that it's like being an upperclassman and being a senior this year, it's kind of like, well, we do have like 2 younger, underclassmen classes that they did say like they feel brand new this fall. Like they've never had an actual fall season. And so it's kind of like, oh, well, our job is to like make sure that they feel welcome and they know what's going on and kind of having like that family connection on the team. So everyone feels like they know what's going on. They feel invited, and just being a family. So.
How has being a Dragon changed you? You've had both of you have had a different experience somewhere else, and I'm sure those made an impact on you as well. But how has being a part of the Dragon family changed who you are today?
It's a tough question. It's a tough question because there's a lot of things I could say about that. For me, I think the community feel of the Dragon athletic program is the most impactful thing. I've never felt isolated as a soccer player, and it's not like us against volleyball or us against softball or whatever. It's a very united feel amongst all the sports, and the support that we get from our athletic staff too is especially considerable. I specifically chose to go to a smaller school because I didn't want to just be a number. And I definitely think I accomplished what I wanted coming to school here and getting individual attention and getting like just love from the people around me. It made me feel like an actual individual, but also an individual that's part of a group.
Yeah, going off of that, I feel like, again, with the whole family bond, I really wanted to come to MSUM because Caitlin, who was on the track team, my friend from high school, told me like, oh yeah, like it's a great family feel, like just try it out, see. And my past experience, I was like, well, like I don't want anything to like repeat, I guess.
Yeah.
And so coming here, I have learned a lot from like each other, and I think that's huge because, that's only going to help you grow. And I think like the whole family feel is like huge. Like I can go up to anyone and they'll support me. So I think that's really big.
What's next? I mean, we have a few games remaining, but senior year, real world coming up quickly. Tell me about how some of these experiences that you've just listed off in the last few minutes will propel you forward and set you up for success in the future.
Yeah, so senior year, we have 5 games left and then our careers are essentially over, which is sad to think about. And like I mentioned earlier, the team aspect is like my favorite part of playing soccer. And it's sad to think that I won't be here every day with my teammates, but I feel really comfortable with the connections that I've made here and knowing that, it won't be the end of my relationships with my teammates. They're never going to get rid of me for a while. So I plan on going to grad school. I have a few years left before I can earn my master's. And I think I feel very confident that I can continue to count on the teammates that I have now and look to the teammates that have come and gone before me for some guidance and some extra support. But it'll definitely be a tough loss to not be a Dragon athlete anymore.
Yeah, for me too. I mean, I think that the connections that we've made are going to stick with me throughout, for how many years. Also the staff and stuff, the coaching, I know I'll reach out to them. I'm sure they'll reach out to me and we'll keep those connections too. So, I mean, once a Dragon, always a Dragon. So, yeah.
Well, fantastic. Thank you both for sharing your stories and kind of why you're here and what's next for you all. And we wish you luck in those next 5 games. And thank you, of course, for joining us on the podcast today.
Yeah, thank you.